Hey, this your boy J Ray back with another video, back with another live stream, and today is Tech Tuesday. Thank you everybody for joining. Thank you everybody for coming out watching. I really appreciate it. So let's get into this. As y'all know, today is Tech Tuesday, and this is a day that we go back and we talk about all the stuff that we have going on, all tech news as far as cell phones, movies, gaming, just whatever it is in tech that we want to talk about. This is the day that we talk about it. Like I said, thank you to everybody who is watching and paying attention. Thank you so much. First off, I'm just typing this out. There we go. First off, I want to start off by saying thank you again, and let's really delve down into a couple of things that I really wanted to talk about today. Number one was Number one is Samsung is releasing some updates for their Galaxy S phones to fix the red display color. Let's see, another update was to go out to fix the Wi-Fi issues and everything. So I don't know really how to think about that, because this is a brand new phone. This is stuff that should have been caught in the quality department, but it wasn't. But all phones have problems. I just don't know I just don't know one. Sorry, guys. Of a phone that's really happened that much. Hold on, guys. I'm so sorry. There we go. My phone going off like a son of a gun or text message. But anyway, every phone has issues. But when you're dealing with Wi-Fi issues and you're dealing with screen tint issues, QA should have caught that. And for those of y'all, QA is quality assurance. Quality assurance should have caught that. Should have made sure that, hey, we got a problem here. Let's hold up on the production. Or it could have been that they caught it and Samsung was like, look, no problem. Let's just get the phones out and let's get them out there and then we'll send a patch afterwards. Let's see. That's mainly the main thing, is that just really I don't know, how maybe Samsung knew about it and Samsung was just like, yo, it ain't no big deal. We're just gonna send it out anyway and we'll release a patch. That's what I'm thinking. In other news, looks like Apple is going to be coming out with a Google Home and Alexa competitor using Siri. And if y'all guys can remember last week on Tech Tuesday, I challenged y'all to try and use just the Google Assistant or Siri or Alexa or whatever assistant you use for a week. And let me tell you a little bit how that went. So I went and I tried to use Google Assistant. I really have. And it was just frustrating to me. It was frustrating to me because it just seemed like that there was no way of it really working out right. You know what I mean? Like, I would ask Google to do certain things and Google couldn't do it. Like, my buddies were asking, daghum, I can't get this off. Hold on, guys. But my buddies was using their Google now. They were using their Google now, and they were asking it, hey, I want to play the Mad Lib game. And it did it. It did it fine with them. Now, granted, I got it. I got it right here so you guys can see. This is my Nexus 6. As you can tell, let me turn it this way so you can actually read it. Yep, that's my Nexus 6. And so I was asking Google, I was like, hey, let's play Mad Libs. As a matter of fact, watch this. Okay, Google, let's play Mad Libs. See? And that's all it gives me. It just gives me search results. It doesn't do the little Easter egg. It doesn't do any of that. Another thing I had a problem with, watch this. Okay, Google, read my notifications.
I can't see your notifications yet.
See, I don't get that. Why it cannot do that. Now Siri, on the other hand, hold on. Hey, gum. Okay, let me see if I can do it. Oh, Lord. Okay. Hey, Siri, read notifications.
You have notifications from Fox News, Mail, and News.
See, she'll read my notifications. The other thing that Siri can do that a lot. Hey, Siri, let's play a game. See, she can't do the game, but there's other things. Hey, Daily Gaming Unit, how you doing? Thank you so much for joining. I really, really appreciate it. Shout out to Daily Gaming Unit, guys. If you get a chance, go and check out their channel at Daily Gaming Unit on YouTube.com. I know they'll really appreciate it. I know he'll really, really appreciate y'all checking him out. But like I said, I asked y'all and challenged y'all to use one of the assistants or both the assistants for a week. But my experience and my personal experience, Siri has been much more helpful to me than Google. Now, Google will pull up information and stuff like that. But one of the things I noticed, like if you ask, if your friends are on iPhone, say your wife, your best friend, or whatever, you can pretty much ask Siri where they're at, and she'll show you. Like I can say, hey Siri, where's my friends?
Which friend? Tom Honeycutt, Corey.
See, I can ask them, and she'll pull it up, or I can find their oh yeah, no problem, Daily. Or I can find their location, look on the map, stuff like that. So it's there's things, but Google, I can't do that. I can't do that with Google Assistant, which is bad. Well, not bad to an extent, but there's just, for me personally, there's so many limitations to Google that I can't use, where Siri I can, and it's simple stuff too. Like one of the things that I don't understand about Google is why I have 3 messaging platforms on my phone. I got Hangout, I got Allo, and I got Messages, which came on the Nexus 6. With Apple, I just have one, So if I ask to send a text or whatever, it's not going to send a text on a different platform, which is what this will do. It'll send a text through Hangouts or through some other messaging app, and I'm like, why didn't you send it through that? I didn't want you. I wanted you to send a text through here, Where Siri's like, oh, okay, I got that, no problem. Do you want me to send it? That's something that I like. Let's see if I can do it. Hey Google. See, It doesn't recognize me half the time either. Hey Google, send a message to my wife. Tell her that I'll be home in a few minutes.
Got it. Do you want to send it or change it?
Cancel.
Okay, no problem.
See, so it took. Oh, you're an S7 user? Hey, there ain't no problem with that. Ain't no problem with that. Let's see. Now, Siri will do it the same way. Hey Siri, tell my wife that I'll be home in a few minutes.
Your message to Shannon Ray says, I'll be home in a few. Okay, let me know if there's anything else you need.
So I can do that, and it'll announce her name, and say, hey, I'll send it, whatever, blah blah blah, and good to go, on that. Where Google's not so much like, and it's even like the Easter egg stuff. Like, okay, Google, sing happy birthday.
These pictures.
See, it said STI happy birthday, and that's not what I asked for. That's not what I said. Okay, Google, sing happy birthday.
Here's a matching video.
See, I didn't want a video, Hey Siri, sing happy birthday.
I'd rather leave that to the professionals.
See, at least Siri will say something. At least Siri will say something funny, And hey Siri, tell me a joke. Hey Siri, tell me a joke.
Two iPhones walk into a bar. I forget the rest.
See. Okay, Google, tell me a joke. See, it just pulls up jokes. That's not what I want, So there's pros and cons to each one. Now, I have my home screen on Google set up a little bit different than I do on my iPhone, and I like it for the most part. I'm using Nova Launcher, and I really do like it. I think it's awesome as far as launchers and customizations and stuff go. Android's the way to go if you want to customize your phone. But for me, Siri just works out a lot better. I can use either one. I can go between either one. But Siri, to me, is just more polished and more user-friendly than what S7 is. But again, that's just me. Now, that being said, there's always things that Siri could improve on. There's things that obviously Google now can improve on. But that being said, the other thing I think that is a factor too is if I had the Pixel, but that really don't make sense because a buddy of mine has a Nexus 6 just like mine, and his Nexus 6 will work like that, no problem. He can ask it to play Mad Libs. He can ask it to read notification. He can do all that. And for some reason, my Nexus 6 on the Google Fi network can't even do that. I don't understand. But like I said, in other news, Microsoft released the Surface. Man, I don't even know if you would say Pro because it's not really a laptop. Microsoft released a Surface laptop, but it's kind of a hybrid. And it's positioned to kind of take on the Google Chrome a little bit. I really haven't seen too much on this, but it looks kind of cool, I guess. Like I said, I really haven't seen too much on it. But I think what Microsoft is doing is Microsoft is beginning to position themselves so that way they can have a better ecosystem. than what they got. That's the big thing, is making sure that they got their ecosystem ready so that way when they start unveiling more products, better products, that will all be cohesive together. That it will all be like Apple's ecosystem where everything is just right there connected together. Same thing with Samsung. Samsung, same way. Samsung is positioning themselves, and I really do feel that Samsung is going to get rid of Android and they're going to go to Tizen. I just feel for some reason that that's what Samsung is wanting to do. So whenever Samsung gets ready to get rid of Android, they're already in position. They already have decks. They already have their tablets. They already have their watches. They already have their computers. They already have their phones and everything. So I mean, it's you know almost a carbon copy of Apple, except it's Samsung. You know. Now that being said, I do like the design of the Samsung Galaxy S8, but the fact that it's easily breakable, that if you don't put a case on it, it's going to be broke. You drop it a couple of times and that's it. But like I said, I think it's just a matter of time. I think it's just a matter of time before we stop looking at Android. That we stop looking at the hardware, that we stop looking at iOS, and it's really going to come down to the virtual assistant. Think about how far the virtual assistant has come compared to what they used to be. It's really come a long way. Compared to what it used to be 2 years ago, a year ago. As a matter of fact. That's just crazy to me how technology has come so far so fast, that it's absolutely nuts. Guys, I also want to give a shout out. Thank you so much for watching. If you haven't, please hit that subscribe button, hit that pound button, and leave a comment in the comment section. Like I said, we can talk about anything from phones to computers to movies to whatever y'all want to talk about. But this is Tech Tuesday, so I kind of like to try and keep it on tech and what's coming up and stuff like that. Now, I know I'm really excited because this Friday, me and my wife are going to see Guardians of the Galaxy 2. So I'm really, really excited about going and seeing that. I think that's going to be awesome. I think the movie's going to be great, and there's a lot of tech in there. If you look at the ships, if you look at the guns that they use, if you look at just different stuff, that's in there that we haven't even fathomed yet. It's just amazing to me. That's like watching. Oh, I'm exploding your mind. Oh, no problem, man. No problem. No problem. Thank you so much, gaming. But if you think about the tech that's coming up, man, look at Star Wars. When Star Trek, when Star Trek came out in the 60s, we have stuff now that they were just dreaming about. Handheld computers, handheld wireless communications device. Man, dude, it's just so, an earpiece that could instantly translate different languages. Do you know we have that? We actually have that. That is nuts. A computer that talks back to you. Virtual assistant. We got that. We got a lot of this tech that they were talking about in the 60s, with Star Trek. What I'm waiting to see, of course, lightsabers. Everybody loves lightsabers. Come on, man. What would not be cool about a lightsaber or a laser gun? I'm just saying. Not only can you kill your deer, but you can skin it and cook it all at the same time with one laser gun. That to me is awesome. To be able to think that we're almost there. Talking about, you see Tesla and Amazon and stuff talking about SpaceX project and going to Mars and colonizing Mars and stuff like that. And I'm just like, wow, colonizing Mars, I mean, that's cool, don't get me wrong. But what's even cooler is if we had a working, oh man, a working scale of the Star Trek Enterprise, where it's just this, it holds like 3,000 people or 2,000 people or whatever. It holds all this amount of people, and you can travel in space in light speed, warp speed, just be at another galaxy, another planet in no time. It's just freaking nuts, man, to think that we're almost there, but we're too busy as humans, as governments, as entities. It's like we're too focused on killing each other to say, hey, you know what? Let's build a spaceship and let's see what else is out there. You're talking about colonizing Mars and everything. Well, we can't even get along here. What makes you think we're going to, because if we colonize Mars, then it's going to be like, oh, it's going to be us against them, or it's going to be this faction against this faction. I just think I like the idea of being able to actually set foot on the Star Trek Enterprise. That to me is just cool. That's one of the nerdy things about myself that I just think is really, really awesome. And that's the thing about it. Is that there's so much out there to see, and so much wonder and everything, that I asked some people I work with. I said, if you had a chance to either stay on Earth with all the crap that's going on, or they offered to take you on the Starship Enterprise, and you was able to go to any planet, anywhere, or you was just able to be on there and just be part of the crew and go on mission after mission, would you do it? And a lot of them was like, no, I wouldn't do it. And then they asked me, they said, would you do it? I said, oh, yeah. Yeah, I'd do it. Me and my wife, I'd hop on there in a heartbeat, because I think it would be so cool to experience and see all these different galaxies, all these different other worlds, and just be able to look at a nebula and be able to see it up close, just all these different things. And the other thing, is that we got VR. We got VR now, so VR is fixing to be mainstream. Well, you know what's going to come shortly after VR? A holodeck. It's got to, where you just walk into a room and the whole room is just a video game world. Or if you want to travel back in history, it's a history, it's ancient Rome, ancient Babylon, ancient Greece, chock full of just whatever, you can travel back to the 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, just to get away or whatever. That to me, and it's like we're on the verge of that. We're on the verge of doing that stuff, and it's just awesome. That's why I say, I don't really worry about, yeah, I like talking about phones. I like talking about computers. I like talking about different items that go with tech and that go along with tech. But there's so much better stuff coming out that's we're on the cusp on. Like I said, we're on the cusp of having a holodeck. We're on the cusp of having to not have to have a phone where we just have a virtual assistant that's in our watch. We just wear a watch or have our earbuds in or whatever, and that assistant's in there, and we can talk to that, and it's just like talking to another human being. That to me is just awesome. Awesome. I just can't fathom. Oh, clicked on the wrong one. I just can't fathom that happening. That just not being able to experience that. I'm sure there's so many people that had lived before our time who, think about it like this. Think of a person who was 70, 80 years old back in 1919, 1919, 1915, something like when the Wright brothers first did their first flight, when it was all over the papers, and you're seeing these guys that are actually flying on this machine, and think of the people that were 80, 90 years old that were like, man, I would so love to be on that, to be on an airplane and fly to this other country or travel to this other country without having to be on a boat, without having to take such a long voyage on a ship, where instead of like on the Mississippi River going from one part of Texas up to Kansas and it taking 3 or 4 days. Now it just takes 3 or 4 hours. You know, one of the things I remember as a kid was the supersonic flight, the jet. That had the nose that dipped down like this, and then when it got ready to fly, it raised up. Talking about going from L.A. to Paris or New York to Paris in like 3 hours, flying supersonic. And it was like, wow, and the seats were going for like $10,000 a seat just to sit on it. I think it was a Concorde. I think it was what it was. But that, that's just amazing to me, to think that we're so close to doing that, and that's what I was saying. Some people say, well, I don't want to wear a smartwatch, or I think, the AirPods, I don't want to get them. I don't like them. They look stupid. But I think if you use it, there's no harm in getting technology and then using it and trying it out for a little while to see if it actually benefits you. My watch really, really does benefit me because it keeps up with my health. It keeps up with my text messages. It keeps up with my reminders and stuff like that, especially when I'm in a meeting or something. I can just look at it, see text message, put it down. Or I can look at it, hold it down, wipe it out. Nobody has to know. Earpods, when I'm walking around, I can keep my phone in my pocket. I can don't have to hold my watch up like this to talk or anything like that. And I can double tap to pull up Siri, and I can tell her, hey, call so-and-so, or do this or do that, and I don't have to touch my phone. That's what I was saying about the whole virtual assistant thing, is that if you find one that you really, really like, then you really need to try it at least for a week. Try not touching your phone. Let your assistant do it and see what I'm really talking about, kind of getting in there. There's so much out there. There's so much that's coming up. Another thing that I think is really, really cool. Did you know that coming in August, I believe it's August or June, that there is going to be a giant robot fight? And it is going to be awesome. It's going to be like real life Met Warriors. I think that is just freaking awesome. I want to see it. I want to see it live. Man, it's between Japan and the U.S. And that's just going to be awesome, awesome, awesome. Hey, tech. Hey, gaming, what you got? Do you think we'll ever get the tech like in Jurassic Park to clone extinct animals and rebuild the species? Yes, most definitely. As a matter of fact, that technology is already here. And you say, okay, well, how come we haven't done it? Well, you got to understand that the technology, Lord, I'm not repeating that. The technology that's here is, you have to look back in the I think it was the 80s or 90s, and guys, help me out because I'm flying blind in this. But I think it was the 80s or 90s, late 80s, early 90s. Scotland cloned a sheep that they called Dolly. Now you say, okay, well they cloned it, but that's what I'm getting into. They found out through the cloning process that they were actually able to do it. Now the clone of Dolly was able to live for a fairly long time, given that it was a clone and everything. But recently, what scientists have been looking at is a woolly mammoth. everybody knows that woolly mammoths have been extinct for several thousands of years. But what they found out was is that they can take today's elephant, one of the biggest elephants, which is the African elephant, I believe, and they can create another woolly mammoth, and that elephant becomes pregnant with the woolly mammoth, and then they have a woolly mammoth available. Same with Tasmanian tigers. Same with let's see, hairy rhinos, woolly rhinos. So the technology's there. They just haven't quite perfected it yet. And as a matter of fact, I think we will be able to see it. If we don't see it in my generation, by the time I'm 80, 90 years old, we'll probably see it in yours. That is, if Jesus Christ don't come back, just yet. But I mean, there's that span in there. I think it's there. I think we're at that cusp. Now, the reason I said that is dinosaurs is a little bit tricky, because if you watch in Jurassic Park, when they're talking about the frogs, frogs were able to switch their DNA from male to female, right? So they're able to splice in some of that DNA from the dinosaur into a reptile creature. But the problem is you got to have a creature that's going to be able to lay that egg. Now, the reason I say that is because, to bring up this, they now have a sac, and what this sac is they put a cell in there and they fertilize it, and the sac basically becomes a womb, a place for this creature to grow, and they grew a sheep in it. I think it was a sheep or a lamb, and they grew it inside this sac. So the technology's there, and I think what they're trying to do is not really just alarm anyone, because look, I'm a huge dinosaur fan. I wanted to be a paleontologist when I grew up, a paleontologist. But you have to think, do you really want? And I mean, don't get me wrong. I think it would be cool to see a Triceratops. Triceratops is my favorite dino. But I think it would be cool to see a Triceratops. But you run into the Jurassic paradox, to where you have a dinosaur that's been extinct for millions and millions and millions of years. And some of these dinosaurs are 3, 4, 5, 6 stories tall, if not taller. Okay? T-Rex, I think, was 2 stories or 3 stories tall. Could you imagine trying to hold T-Rex in a cell, to where, it's like, oh, we're just going to go up and see it, like Jurassic Park. I think if scientists were to do it, I'm thinking they would start out with the anyway, the first feathered dinosaur. It was about as big as a chicken, but it had razor teeth. I think that was something that they would start out with, is something small. I don't think it would be something that they would just jump into and say, hey, we're gonna bring Diplodocus back, or we're gonna bring T-Rex back, Allosaurus back, we're gonna bring Stegosaurus, because you're talking about dinosaurs that, oh man, are freaking monsters. You think of monsters. I mean, just think of Jurassic Park and what happened in Jurassic Park, and then kind of try it out. Hey, Tech, let's see. I did try virtual assistants for a week, but they do some stuff. They do some stuff good. Still need a long way to go. Oh yeah. Yeah, most definitely, Tech. There's a lot of stuff on the virtual assistants that they really, really need help with. But that's what I'm saying. And I think it depends which virtual assistant that you're used to, and which virtual assistant you're most comfortable with, and what they can do. I was doing an example earlier, like for me, Google Assistant, it can't read notifications. That's something that I need, especially when I'm walking around and I got one of these in my ear. I need it to be able to read me my text message, what emails I get, what any phone calls, any missed calls, you know, anything like that. Able to read me the news, stuff like that. I need it. I need it to do that. Google can't see. Google Assistant cannot see your notifications. Now, Siri, on the other hand, which is what I use the most, it's what I'm used to, it's what I'm comfortable with. She can, and she'll read it to me in my ear. I really really like that. I really really like that. Now, Google Now, what I like about Google Now is Google Now gives me more information. But that being said, I want to throw this out there. This is a caveat. I think Google needs to really, really work on pushing their updates out. I think Google really needs to work on really tightening down on their Android operating system, and especially Google Assistant, because my buddy that's got a Nexus 6, the same as mine, he can get his Google Assistant to do the Easter eggs. He can ask it to let's play Mad Libs or sing Happy Birthday or whatever. I can't get mine to do none of that. Siri don't do Mad Libs, and Siri don't sing Happy Birthday. But Siri will tell me a joke. But Google will just pull up a website or a YouTube channel on how to tell jokes. Daily Gaming Unit. Yeah, I get what you mean. Maybe even Plant Life being brought back. Could they do that? Plant Life. Well, and here's the thing about when we're getting into this, we're basically talking about archaeology and cloning and stuff like that. They actually found what was it? It was some seeds. I believe it was some seeds from ancient times, and they were actually able to re redo the seeds, put the seeds in there, and the seeds actually grew, so they were able to bring some stuff back. As far as cloning plant life, I don't know, because plant life is a lot different than um than DNA, than you and me, than what we're made of, you know, uh, because plant life, like with us, you have DNA, your blood, your cells, stuff like that. Your teeth, your bones all have DNA in it, and that's DNA that we can extract. Plant life, I'm not really sure, because that's different. It's different to me. Um I'm not really sure about that. You know, if they could even do plant life. As a matter of fact, hey Siri, are we able to clone ancient plant life?
Here's what I found on the web for Are We Able to Clone Engine Plant Log? Have a look.
Yeah, apparently scientists have been able to clone plants, but I don't know. You know what? I don't know if it's living plants though. I don't know. I don't know if we're able to actually do that just yet. If we made it to that, let me hold on. Let me ask. Hey Siri. Hey Siri. Are we able to clone ancient plant life?
I
She
found
put
something
wow.
on the web about Are We Able to Clone Ancient Plant Life? Check it out.
Let's see. Do. Okay, I found something on here. Hold on, since we're talking about this, and I really think this is interesting. And I hope you guys too, because it is dealing with technology. Do. Okay, there's 4 answers. Okay. The thing about it is, if it's a truly fossilized plant, then we're not able to get any kind of uh, DNA from it. But that's, I mean, that's kind of to be, I guess that's kind of to be expected. Like they found the mosquito in the amber that actually had DNA left over from one of the ancient reptiles and everything. I could see that being used, you know. But fossilized, when there's no DNA sample to get, I think that's going to be a lot harder. But now you got to remember some of the plants that they were eating back then, we still have now. So I don't think that would be a problem in that. Now, that being said, it's totally possible. There's no telling what we can or cannot do. On top of that, so uh, on your tech, I want to get back to this virtual assistant. What do you think was the up and down for you in trying it? Did you kind of notice anything that I was talking about in the last stream and that I've talked about in this stream, as far as being able to, you see the benefit where I was talking about kind of where tech's going, that we're headed to this virtual assistant path, that we're on the way of not really having to carry cell phones with us anymore, that we're not having to carry anything bulky with us anymore, that it could basically be tucked inside a watch, inside earphones, even inside your eyeglasses, like in the rail or something, where we're not really having to carry around just a whole bunch of stuff anymore. Like I said, there's so much tech coming out there, and I touched on this earlier. That's like Microsoft releasing the Surface computer today, or laptop, where it's, everything that I've read on it, they're like, well, it's competing with the Google Pixel tablet, with the Chromebooks. It's competing with them and stuff like that. But really, I think it's a lot more than that. I think what's happening is we're starting to see Microsoft actually set up its ecosystem. That we're starting to see Microsoft say, okay, you know what? Surface Pro tablet was a little bit too expensive. We're going to bring you something that'll be better. That's a Windows 10 Lite. We'll have the cloud set up. You can store everything in the cloud. You don't have to worry about it. We got you covered. That this tablet's going to come out. It's going to be about $300-$400 for this laptop instead of $1,200 for the Surface Pro. We're gonna get our stuff together so that way we can build an ecosystem. Because if you notice, Windows 10 already works with Xbox. You can already play your Xbox games on Windows 10. Because of the sync up and the way it hooks up and stuff like that. You can also integrate it. If you got a Surface phone, it should pretty much integrate together. So I'm starting to see. What I'm seeing is that we're getting closer and closer to that Star Trek era, where we're starting to see all this tech. And now it's not so much that you're picking a phone. It's not so much that you're picking a phone. It's not so much that you're picking a computer. It's not so much that you're picking a tablet or a TV. You're picking an ecosystem. You're choosing an ecosystem of what suits you best, what's easiest for you to use, what's easiest for you to have in your whole house. And I want to touch on something interesting today. We were talking about Bill Gates today at work, and we were talking about how Bill Gates has his house where the house kind of knows who you are. It knows who lives there. When you walk into a room, the house says, oh, well, this is Bill. Bill likes the temperature at 70 degrees. Okay, and then he walks into another room, and then that room starts heating up to the temperature that he likes. But his wife can come in right behind him, and it says, oh, well, this is his wife. Well, she likes the temperature at 74 degrees, so it warms it up a little bit. I think that's what we're getting to. I mean, if they already have it, we're already coming in to the smart homes. We're already coming in to where people are putting more and more technology on their homes that are connected to the Internet of Things, where everything's connected to the web, where I can look at my house, I can look at the security, I can look and see what doors are locked, unlocked, I can set a time, I can turn the lights on and off, I can tell Google or Siri or Alexa or Cortana to turn the lights on or whatever. That's what I really think. That's what I really think we're getting into now. It's not okay. Let's argue about this hardware. Let's argue about this ecosystem. Let's argue about these assistants. Let's argue about who's doing the most for me and my house and my household and what works for me. So I think we're going to see a lot of competition. We're seeing some of the competition right now, but it's going to come out to where the competition is going to be so much more fierce because there's so much more money to be made off that, and that's what I was saying. I actually have Alexa here at the house because I have an Amazon Fire Stick. I thought about getting the Amazon Echo, the big one, and using that. But, it kind of don't jive because I use Siri for so much. Now, if Siri would interact with Amazon and I could tell her to order my stuff off of Amazon when I was ready, that would be really, really awesome. Or tell her, hey, look, order me some dryer sheets from Amazon. Oh, okay, I see your last order. Here you go. Instead of me having to use Alexa or put it online in the computer. That's where I think we're really, really getting to. Now, that being said, do you see where competition is a good thing or a bad thing when it comes to the virtual assistants, when it comes to picking out the ecosystem that you're going to use? Are we really at that pinnacle? Are we really at that point to where you have to decide, okay, in my house, we only use Google Assistant. Oh, well, in my house, we only use Siri. Well, in my house, we only use Cortana. Well, in my house, we only use Alexa, and I think it really only works. I think it really only works if you got all the components to that ecosystem. If you got the phone, if you got the headphones, the watch, the laptop, the TV, if you have a majority of this ecosystem, and by majority of the ecosystem, I mean, if you're using a Windows PC, then it only makes sense to grab a Windows phone because you have an Xbox, okay? If you're using Android, then it only makes sense to get a Chromebook because you're using a Google Home and a Chromecast. You see what I'm saying? I mean, because when you try to mix and match, it doesn't really work all that well sometimes with a third party. Let's see, daily gaming unit. Yeah, I get what you mean, maybe. Even Plant Life being brought back, could they do that? Oh, I'm sorry. I already read that. Sorry. Hey, Beyond, how you doing? Thank you so much for joining. Google Assistant cannot, but there is a third-party app that can ready message. Okay, home automated is good. The more competitors, the more innovation comes out. Okay, yes, granted. Now, thank you so much, Tech. Thank you so much, Beyond Hush, for joining in. Granted, I see what you're saying, but about there's third-party apps that can ready message. But here's where I'm going to differ with you on that a little bit. I don't want a third-party app. You see what I'm getting at? I don't want a third-party app. If I ask you to send a message, I don't want to have to download a third-party app and then try to figure out which messaging service I'm going to use. This is what ticks me off about Google. I got 3 messaging services on my Android device. I got the regular messaging service that came with the Nexus 6. I got Hangouts. Then I got Google Allo. Okay, why do I need 3? Why did you not just stick Hangouts? You had FaceTime call on there, and you had messaging on there. You should have just used Hangouts. You should have corrected Hangouts. You should have made it to where when I say, hey, Google, or, okay, it didn't hear me. When I say, Google, send a message to my wife. Tell her I'm going to be on late tonight. It should automatically, without having to do a third party, without having to do anything like that, it should automatically do it. If I tell Siri to send a message to Timbuktu, if my contact information, if that person's information is in my phone, she'll send it. I don't need a third party. She will send it. That's what I'm talking about. Now, home automated is good for competitors. The more innovation will come out. True. Now I see that, and it's kind of like with the cell phones. You always see, oh, this one come out with dual speakers. Then here later on, this person's got dual speakers. Well, Apple removed the headphone jack. Oh, well, this company had to remove the headphone jack. Okay, that's cool. What's not cool is when these products will not work with every manufacturer. That's something I hate on Apple about. I have a Nest thermostat in my house. My Nest thermostat should be able to work with my iPhone. It don't. I don't like that. I don't like the fact that it does not work with my phone. Now I can go and get an Ecobee. I can go get a Honeywell that'll work with my phone, but I spent $250 on a Nest thermostat that don't even work with my phone. That I don't understand why this item that's made by this company won't work with this company, because if it's in my home, it should work with everything that I have in this house. Really, I mean, that's the way I feel about it. I think, yes, competition is great, competition is good, but you should be competing on the newest stuff, on the newest technology. You should be competing on, well, this person don't have a headphone jack, we're not going to put a headphone in ours. Or this person don't have a headphone jack, we're going to keep the headphone jack and we're going to add Bluetooth 5.0. Okay, but that doesn't mean that, well, we're not going to let Apple headphones work with our phone because they're made by Apple. That's stupid. Once I buy the headphones or whatever, they should work with no matter what product I have. Same with the thermostat. If I buy a thermostat and it's connected to the internet, it should work no matter what phone I have. That's the problem that I have with some of this stuff, with some of the ecosystems that we're getting into, that we have, is that they're not talking. That this won't work with this, or this won't have the features because you can get it to work with this, but not all the features are going to be there. Blah 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 blah. Let people use what they want to. Let people. I understand about it being proprietary and stuff like that. I understand all that, but we're the consumers. If I buy a watch, that's my watch. You can say, oh, okay, well, it's going to work best with your iPhone because you're going to be able to have all the features and everything. Okay, cool. It works best with an iPhone. When I hook it up to my Android phone, as long as it gives me messages, my weather, my phone calls, and I'm able to see my notifications, I'm good. If it don't do the health apps, or if it don't, if the apps that I can get for it on Apple won't transfer over to Google, that's fine, as long as it gives me all my other stuff. That's what kills me about some of this tech stuff. I just don't get it. I really, really don't get it. I don't understand why we have this barrier just because you're two competing companies. You know, I would think if your product's good enough, it shouldn't matter. It shouldn't matter what maker it is. You know, you can say, hey, our products will work best with our products. You know, it's kind of like subwoofers. You know, if you buy a pair of Rockford Fosgate subwoofers, they're going to work best with Rockford Fosgate amps because Rockford Fosgate designed those subwoofers to work best with those amps. Now, Rockford Fosgate don't say, hey man, if you buy our subs, but you don't hook them up to this amplifier, if you hook our subs up to another amplifier, they're not going to work. They're not going to work. They're just going to shut down because it's not our amplifier. What? Come on, man. Because I can hook up any pair of Rockford Fosgate subs to any amp out there. Any amp is going to push those subs. Now, whether that amp pushes true wattage or not, that's a different story. But those subs are still going to work with any amp. Now, if I get a Fosgate amp to go with them, they're going to be matched. They're going to be matched. Everything's going to be right because those subs are specifically designed to work with those amps. You know, that's the thing that bothers me. You know, everybody else can seem to work together, even though they're competitors. But Apple and Google and Amazon and Cortana, Microsoft and Samsung, they just want to have all these walls and these barriers built up, and that's not the case. That shouldn't be the case. You know, I mean, why? You know, and I guess that's the thing that kind of gets me about Android is Google's like, okay, we're going to put pure Android on there because we want to show you how it's supposed to be. If you want to show people how Android's supposed to be, then don't leave it as a free and open system because you're not controlling your updates. You're not in control of anything, but yet you want people to buy the Pixel phone, which, by the way, you're only supporting with the latest and greatest OS updates for 2 years, you know, and then you'll get security updates for a little while after that, and then they drop support of it. Why even do that? Why do that? Why do that? Why not say, okay, well, you know what? We left Android for everybody else because we're going to make money out of that, but we're going to make our own specific OS just for us, and if you like it, great. If you don't, you know, we got this other out here. You know, that's one. It makes absolutely no sense to me, guys. And if y'all got an opinion, please, by all means, tune in. Let me know how you're liking the chat. Let me know what you think about anything that I've said, will say, have said, gonna say. You know, let me know because the more you interact with me, the more it is. Yes, I got your message, Beyond. Okay, see you later, Daily. Hope you have a great day, man. Have a great day, and I hope everything goes well for you. Pray everything goes well for you. Yes, Beyond, I did get your message, so I will try to do that here in a little bit, okay? But, yeah, guys, let me know in chat. Let me know if there's anything that you like, didn't like, or that you want to talk about, you know, specifically, you know. And shout out to Daily Gaming Unit for asking about the Jurassic Park clone and everything. That was awesome. And shout out to Beyond Hush. Guys, you can check out both these guys on YouTube. They are awesome. You can also check out Tech for Your Needs. He is another YouTuber who is really awesome. Really awesome. But like I said, leave a comment, drop a like, drop a subscribe if you're able. I really appreciate it. But those are just things that I see that bothered me. You know, those are things that I see from Google, from Apple, from Microsoft, from Amazon that just kind of bothered me, you know. I mean, if you have to guard your products that much, I mean, granted, I use all Apple products because I like all Apple products. That doesn't mean that I support some of the things that Apple has done. I mean, I think being walled off has its disadvantages sometimes. You know, I just, and sometimes I think being a little too open is not an advantage. I think that can be a disadvantage, you know, especially when you're telling everybody, hey, buy this phone because this is how it's supposed to be and this is how we like it to run and da 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 da. Then why did you even open up Android? I mean, you just did that just to get revenue from everybody buying your phone, so you could plaster with ads and do this and do that and track everybody's shopping. And, oh well, you like to go and shop at Best Buy. Here's an ad for Best Buy. I mean, come on, man. Y'all got to pick it up. Y'all got to do better than this. That's all there is to it. I did see MKB HD. If you guys don't know who he is, go and check out his channel. He is a very, 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 very awesome YouTuber, and he had a 65-inch flat TV, extremely flat. I'm talking half-inch thick, I believe it is. Oh, that thing was awesome. Cost $8,000, but it was awesome. It's just going to be a matter of time before, we have TVs that are that thin, and we won't have to worry about, having all the cables and stuff like that. I think it's just a matter of time before the only thing you'll see is a power cable, and everything else will just be wireless. You won't have an HDMI cable. You're not going to have, all these inputs and stuff like that. It's just everything's going to be wireless. I think it's awesome. I think it's awesome. Man. So, guys, what do y'all want to talk about? Is there anything in particular that you want to say, that maybe a shout-out or anything that you need done or anything like that? Hit me up in the comments. I really, really appreciate it. Let's see. It is 8:06 right now. Let's see. I'm waiting to see what you guys post. I know there's got to be a question for me out there somewhere. But yeah, that's basically kind of it. As far as discussion and talking about today, not really a whole lot going on. Not too much in tech news besides Microsoft releasing that Chromebook competitor. Samsung having to fix some of the issues in their S8. And basically, that's just it. Again, I want to send a shout out to everybody in chat, Daily Gaming Unit, Tech for Your Needs, Beyond Hush's live stream, and everybody else that joined. If you haven't already, please hit that like button, pound that subscribe button. It really helps me to grow as a YouTuber. I really, really appreciate it. And I guess we're just going to call it, we're just going to end the stream right here. I was waiting on a couple of questions to come up. They haven't popped up, so that's okay. So we're just going to go ahead and we're going to call it a night. So with that being said, tune in tomorrow as we do some gameplay on the PS4. And I need to set it up to where I do more of these live streams and just kind of talk to you guys because I really like talking about tech. And I really like talking to you guys one-on-one. So with that being said, please, again, hit that like button, pound that subscribe button, drop a comment in the comment section. Let me know if there's anything I can improve on or anything you want to talk about for the next episode. But this is your boy, Subzerojray, saying peace. Have a blessed day. I am out of here. Thank you guys so much. Y'all have a blessed day. Have a blessed night. Have a blessed day. I pray y'all have a great day tomorrow. Subzerojray, peace. I'm out.